Today I'm going to show you a br4st decrease. Basically, this is a 4-stitch decrease. It's the one that gives everybody kind of fits a little bit. It's worked over 5 stitches, and I highly recommend that you either have a locking stitch marker or some kind of cable needle, because you're going to have a stitch sort of hanging there, and you need to catch it, because the last thing you want to do is lose it and have to pull out some brioche to get it. Okay, so let's just start. This is on a bark row, so it's a knit stitch row with our main color. Okay, we're going to take it really slow. We're going to do a few of them. Okay, so you knit. Okay, so you're going to slip that first stitch, because that's just your regular purl that you're slipping. Okay, now here's your 5 stitches. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be decreasing all of these stitches, 5 stitches. So you have 1 bark, purl, 2 bark, purl, 3 bark stitches, and 2 purls in between. Okay, so we're going to slip the first bark knitwise. We're going to slip the next purl knitwise. So you slip those 2 separately. Then we're going to take our stitch marker, and this one bark that's in the middle of all the stitches, so you'll have 2 on one side and 2 on the other, we're going to put that on the stitch marker, and we're going to slip it off the needle to the front. So I like to put it through, lock my stitch marker and make sure it's locked, then pull it to hang forward. Okay. Next, you're going to knit the next stitch on the needle, which is a purl stitch. Okay. Now you're going to take that first purl stitch that you have on your left side needle that you just slipped, you didn't do anything with it, and you're going to slip it over. Okay, great. Now you're going to take that stitch, move it to the left hand needle, and take the last bark stitch and slip that over. Okay, so now we're down to 2 more stitches. We have the first stitch and we have the one on our stitch marker. Now we're going to take that first stitch, the first bark, and slip that over. Okay. Now it's time to take the stitch that's on the stitch marker and put it back on the left hand needle. Okay. You're going to take the stitch from the right hand needle that has all the stitches on it, and you're going to pull that last stitch over, and there you go. And there is your 4-stitch decrease. Okay, so that's 5 stitches into 1. Let's do it again, because this is a tough one. Okay, it's no problem. We're going to do it till we get it right. Okay, here we go. Yarn in front. You slip your purl stitch, because that's what you always do. That stitch doesn't count. Now here are your 5 stitches. You have a bark, a purl, a bark, a purl, and a bark. Okay, and just so everybody knows, the bark is the yarn over and the knit stitch, and that's what those 2 combined are called, a bark. Okay, so we're going to slip that first bark and then slip the next purl, both slipping them knitwise. Now we take that middle stitch, the middle bark, and we put it on the stitch marker. Lock it and pull it to the front. Okay, so now we've got 2 on here, 2 on here, and 1 in the front. We're going to now knit the next purl stitch. Okay, then we're going to take the first purl stitch we slipped and pull it over. Okay, great. We're going to take that and put that back on the left. Now slip the last stitch over. Okay, now we have 2 more stitches, and we're going to take our first stitch that we slipped, the first bark, and pull it over. So now we have all of our stitches on this one, have all been combined into this one stitch, and we have our stitch on our stitch marker. So we're going to take that bark, put it back on the left hand needle, take the stitch marker off. We're going to move the other stitch onto the left hand needle, and we're going to pull that middle bark over. And there you go. 5 stitches into 1. Okay, we'll do one more. Okay. So here we go. Yarn in the front, slip that purl that we always slip. We have our 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You slip the first one knitwise, the second one knitwise. The third stitch goes on your stitch marker. Lock it and pull it off. Now we're going to knit that next purl. We're going to slip the purl over next to it. Put it to the left. Slip the last bark over it. Put it back to the right. Slip the first bark over it. Okay, now all we have left is our hanging stitch. We're going to put it on the left-hand needle, put the last stitch on the left-hand needle, and slip it over. And there we go. That's a 4-stitch decrease. It's the br4st decrease. I hope that's helpful. Practice that one because you don't want to mess that one up. Okay, thank you.